Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to actor David Cade about his film Lansky coming out June 25th. David, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you for having me. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, man. It's good to see you too. This interview is we're finally doing this. We tried to, schedules and everything, even before the pandemic.
Yes,
schedule.
We finally made it work. Listen, I know the pandemic slowed us down enough so we could finally do this together.
Absolutely. It's always exciting when you have a project coming out. I mean, this is a film that there's a lot going on. This has an amazing cast. Lansky, what was it like working on this film, David?
Amazing.
Yeah.
This was a really fun movie to do. We had, big sets, big actors, big characters. And I don't know, man, it was a total gift to be able to get on it and actually, see it happening day by day, to see the old 1930s cars and to have the shoot, to have, all of the, it was sort of an actor's dream in that regard. I think a lot of guys watch those young gangster movies, and this was like that.
Absolutely. That's one thing I love, like the cars, like that I love that part of it too.
You want gangster dialogue, you want guys, fighting and doing that whole thing. You want the cars, the chases, all of it. So it's good.
You've had an opportunity to work on a lot of different projects. Obviously, it's work and you're going to go where the opportunities go, but do you ever think about how cool it is that you have been able thus far to work on a different variety of projects, David? Like, that's pretty cool.
Dude, I'll tell you, it's actually something that I feel really grateful for.
Yeah.
Because, I think when I kind of came into the business, there was this idea that like, oh, you're going to be on the CW, and that's fine. But, that's great. There's like this very specific thing about what I could do. And I feel really grateful that I've been able to do comedy and sitcom. And now I play these like really bad dudes.
Yeah. You're not a good guy.
Yeah, I'm not. I either like make you laugh or I am just a horrible person.
Yeah.
So it's been fun to really get to do that. Yeah, I feel very grateful for that.
Did you have this idea? Did you have an idea at a young age that like acting and storytelling was something you wanted to do?
Yeah. Very young. Yeah, that was always sort of my escape from life and whatever it was. I remember being at my dad's office while he worked on the weekends, and just like I would go to Blockbuster and get like 4 or 5 movies, and I would get my porn, and I would just sit and I would watch for hours. I would just watch everything, and I remember watching Pulp Fiction and Bring It On and Monty Python, and so I always had like a very wide amount of things that I was interested in.
Did you see that movie, The Last Blockbuster? Did you see that yet, or like see trailers for that?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Well, they explain all the business too about how like the small mom and pop shop video store only carried a certain amount, and like it was expensive. Like that is so interesting. I didn't realize that before I saw that.
Yeah, man. I remember it. I remember going out. We had like our own little mom and pop video shops. We had a place that, I'd probably pop into twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
I get my 3-day rental or whatever it was. I loved it.
I know. Getting back to Lansky, I mean, you get casted, you get the script, you have kind of an idea of what's going on and everything. What's your mindset before kind of going in and shooting this film? Like, is it different than other films? Like, what was this one like?
It's a little different.
Yeah.
It was a little different. I think I recognized the opportunity in this film.
Yep.
In a way that was a little different for me. Ben Siegel, Bugsy Siegel, has only been played by so many guys, right? And there's a real archetype to him, and there's a real lore to him. And I wanted to give it justice. I wanted to have a version that people could relate to, but that was also very uniquely my interpretation of the character. And so, so that's what I think that was sort of coming into the film. There was a lot of prep about really trying to understand who Ben Siegel was, and then why he did the things that he did.
Absolutely.
And not just make it that he's overtly bad or but just like, how do you get there?
100%. Now, this is a question I always ask, just like for precaution, because I never know sometimes. Okay. Have you seen Lansky? Have you watched it?
Yeah.
Okay, you can't assume that all.
No, I know. I know. No, it's a fair question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what was that experience from actually like making it to actually watching it like for you specifically with this role?
I think well, first off, I hate watching myself act.
Well, a lot of people do. That's why a lot of people don't watch.
Yeah, it's tough. I have a hard time watching anything that I do. But that said, the really cool part about it was, well, there's so many layers. There was the seeing the film in its final conception and going, oh yeah, we did it. That's a movie that I would want to see. That's a good movie. I'm really excited about that. And then there's watching your performance. And that's a love-hate. But I got to say that I was really happy that some of the things that I tried to instill in the character and in the moment, they're there on the screen. Yeah. So I'm really happy about that.
Absolutely. It's interesting. I mentioned in the beginning, you have worked on a lot of projects. Some people might recognize you from a specific show. I don't know if you know what I'm about to say.
You talking about Big Time Rush?
You were in Big Time Rush, but the reason I bring it up, Dave, there's a reason why I want to bring it up, because it's a good talking point and question I have for you. Mm-hmm. I mean, because of streaming services and syndication and everything, there's been a resurgence for a lot of that Nickelodeon Disney Channel stuff, TikTok. It's crazy. Have you noticed that?
No, I mean, we hit number 4 on Netflix, for 2 weeks. I was out of it. I had my DMs flooding with, they're all grown up now. Oh my God, I watched the show again. And I'm like, wow.
You were Chip, right?
Was that?
What was your character's name?
Jet.
It was Jet. Yes, Jet. Yeah.
Jet Stetson.
Jet.
Yeah, Jet was, honest to God, some of the most fun I ever had.
It looked like it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
It was over the top, right? Your character was the over the top actor.
Totally farcical, very Errol Flynn-esque sort of acting on it, but that was the fun. I'm really a fan of absurdist comedy.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting this enormous opportunity to do that. Again, growing up, I watched Mel Brooks, right?
Yeah.
And I watched a lot of, theater and sort of style of comedy. So something about Big Time Rush was so interesting is it allowed me to bring those types of characters in to the room.
Absolutely. But it's the Netflix thing, but also I talked to Steve Nate Glickman, who played Gustavo Rock, about this a couple of years ago. I mean, TikTok was huge, but TikTok was huge obviously for the dancing and everything, but all these shows Big Time Rush and iCarly and on Disney Sweet Life, clips would
Totally.
resurface. It was
People
nuts.
Still love it. People still love it. People still bring up reunion tours, and they bring up, bringing back another movie for the show. People have brought up spin-off ideas over the years. I think it was you want to know a funny story about that?
Yeah, sure.
True story. When I started auditioning for in town, I had gone in for some Nickelodeon things, and I would walk into the room and I would look at these guys and I'd be like, these guys are kids. These guys are legitimate kids. I don't know if I'm gonna ever book this job. So I actually called my agent. I said, don't send me out for Nickelodeon anymore. It's not worth our time. It's not going to happen. It's just never going to happen, right? So on a whim, they send me these sides. And I look at it and I go, oh, God, it's Nickelodeon. I said, I'm not going to book this. I hate going in there and sucking. I don't want to. But I read the sides and I read this character and I go, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny. And I think that I know how to. So this is where I had the Jet Stetson sides. And I went in there and I did this sort of over-the-top version of everything that he says and does and feels. And they started dying in the room. They cut the camera. I went probably 20 seconds after they cut the camera off, just stayed in character and just had fun. That was it. I had never heard of the show.
And I got a lot of screen time later on too. Your character, that was a good role.
Oh yeah, they started really writing me into the show and giving me real storylines, and it was fun. And but I had never heard of the show, and I never would have imagined it changed my life as much as it did. And I'm absolutely in love with it. For the time, I have the love I have for that show and the people that I did it with.
Absolutely, yeah. We're talking about that project, and I never came back to Lansky. Talk about the whole other side of things.
And then there's Lansky.
And then there's Lansky. The obvious answer to this question, I mean, gangster film, a lot going on in it from top to bottom, the beginning to end. I mean, people enjoy it, they watch it. Diving deep into it a little bit more, David, when people watch Lansky, what are you hoping they get out of it?
I hope what they get out of it is, first and foremost and always entertainment. Yep. I want them to have a great time when they watch it. But I also want them to see the hard work that went into creating a story like that. I just want them to see, you know, the characters, and not just mine. I mean, Harvey Keitel is amazing. Sam Worthington is amazing. John Magaro, Anna Sophia Robb. Our cast.
Sam Worthington in this is like
gangster.
That's amazing.
Gangster. All right. A guy rolls out day one and he's like, "I'm Mike Committee. You're gonna do great. You guys are hungry." But you know, like, he was so cool, and I was like, "Oh my god, Avatar." No, he's awesome, and I want people to see the nuance that we brought to those characters. I want them to see the real life we tried to give to them. I think everybody brought something really authentic to the movie, and that really helps create this like three-dimensional, awesome story. So, and I hope to have a better understanding. By the way, because here's the thing: it's not just the history of Meyer Lansky; it's American history.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
So, I think you're going to have a much bigger understanding of the impact that he had, literally on everything as we know it. And Ben, selfishly, you know, Ben in Las Vegas and the Flamingo and all of that.
Oh, 100%. And it's interesting too, because you're obviously you're acting in this film. But a lot of people these days are, you know, experimenting and wanting to maybe wear many hats and not just act and direct and write. And a lot of people are kind of getting thrown in there. I mean, obviously acting is kind of the main thing you're focusing on, but like writing and directing, does that interest you at all, or do you just focusing on acting right now?
100%. Yeah. No, 100%. I've been writing for about 5 years now.
Yep.
Sometimes as a side gig, you know, I just love it.
Yep.
And recently I started actually, you know, I produced my first film in 2019, which was Into the Ashes. Yep. And then that sort of opened up this better understanding of how to funnel.
I think that's the project you were supposed to come on the show for.
Yeah. Into the Ashes, which was another great project. We had a lot of fun with that. And that was the first time I learned about filmmaking more directly, more hands-on.
Yep.
So now that I've started getting more experience there, it's like, yeah, as a writer, I want to really make cool stuff. I have a TV show that I've done with my girlfriend, Ash Santos, that we have Evan Shapiro of Portlandia fame attached to, that we're now taking out to the market. I've got a show called Land of Smiles, which is sort of based on my life. And I've got this film called The Handler over at Gilbert Films that I'm now attached to direct. And so
amazing.
I want to do all of it, man. I just love storytelling.
Absolutely. No, it is amazing. I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show, man. This was awesome.
Buddy, it was amazing to be here with you finally. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was fun.
Yeah, so Lansky, June 25th. It's going to be in theaters and then on demand and digital as well. So they're going to have a lot of different opportunities to see it, which is awesome. And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
So on Twitter, Cade Brigade, Instagram, Cade Brigade. Feel free to follow, reach out, say whatever. Hope you guys like the movie.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes, popternative.com for other content as well. Until next time, this is David Cade from Lansky and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.